and this is my big sister Stacey.
And this is Sister Social Call. Well, hey, sissy.
Hi, sister. How are you?
I'm well. How are you tonight?
I'm really good. I'm so excited about this episode.
Well, that's great. We are going to talk about gardening shortly, folks. But before we get into that, I want to say hello to all of our regular listeners and a very special welcome to our new listeners. But we need to talk, sissy, about our last episode.
Well, I think we just need to touch in on it.
Yeah. Our last episode was about whether men and women could be friends, and it has touched a nerve with some folks.
It's brought up a lot of conversation in the salon, with friends. It's I was a little bit surprised by that, to be honest. I was a little shocked. And even I put a poll up on our Instagram, and a lot of people replied to the poll, more people than usual, and 100% of the people said yes, men and women could be friends. Somebody also reached out to me and they have some strong opinions, I think, not towards that, but then also in salon, it brought up a lot of conversation since Monday. It's only Wednesday.
Yeah, okay.
So we've been really hearing about it. Like, one thing that somebody said to me, and I did post this on our Instagram story, was they thought that it would make a difference if I'm hanging out with another dude friend that's single. That would be different than like brother Neil hanging out with you and Sean. It may be a bit different if you were single and then you're hanging out with brother Neil. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, very valid point. Very valid. It maybe changes the dynamic a little bit because perhaps both people are on the prowl. Like, who knows? But it definitely is worth saying that might change things a little bit if one person in the friendship is hooked up or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I thought it was great that people had some strong opinions about that. So I just wanted to say thanks for getting involved in the conversation and chiming in. We love to hear all the opinions and perspectives. That's what makes the world go round. So I'm here for it, and I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you for sharing what has been chitty-chatted about in the hair chair. It's always fascinating to me. You have that direct connection with our listeners in your hair chair. So interesting.
Yeah, it's great. I love that. We've got such great support from people listening to the podcast. So it's really fun to be able to have those conversations in the chair and really, really quickly after the podcast comes out. So that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, on to tonight's topic. It is spring.
It's spring. It's like the April showers are coming in May, though.
Yeah. By the calendar, it is spring. And we are definitely getting the urge to get into the gardens and planters and into the greenhouses to start getting our flowers into the ground and our gardens into the ground. Chrissy lives in zone 3. And and I live in a 4B. And so we'll just talk, I think Chrissy will talk a little bit about that and things that we're going to be planting in our flowers in our gardens this year. Maybe a little bit about the work that we have done to date or what we're planning this summer. And then we'll wrap her up with moon phases, because this is a real struggle in this month of May because we have a blue moon. So those are the things we're going to chat about tonight. Gardening. Okay, let's start off with our zones, sis. Why don't you talk a little bit about zone 3? And do you know anything about my zone 4B?
Well, the thing with the zone is that actually, I think it was last year, the United States redid their zones because of climate change.
Yeah.
So there are definitely things that you want to pay attention to when you are in your zone. For instance, perennials and hardiness. However, in your area that you're living in, you do still have to check because some greenhouses just get happy and they just buy whatever. Typically in your local greenhouses, they shouldn't be even selling things that don't grow in your zone. Our zones are not very far off, sister. Your zone and my zone. I don't know a ton about your zone, but basically like the zone is essentially the hardiness zone as far as like what you can plant as far as perennials and what type of annuals will grow well in your climate, and vegetables and things like that. So, which would be considered an annual. And then as far as like shrubs and trees and things like that, there's certain ones that will grow well where I live, but they won't grow well in, say Florida. Well, I mean, they shouldn't be selling me a tree that grows in Florida but doesn't grow here. However, we do, grow tropical plants, and then we bring them in for the winter or dispose of them or whatever. I do look at the zones as far as the final frost dates and the first frost dates. So it kind of gives you an idea of when you should be planting, and then when you might have to start covering some of your plants if they're still outdoors. Like, that's kind of all I really pay attention to. You can just put so much thought and effort. I mean, an effort into worrying about that, but and there is some validity to it. I'm not going to lie. But for the most part, it's just important to know what your zone is. And then when you're buying seeds and plants and things like that, if you're very concerned about, yeah, for sure, perennials, they're very expensive. Trees, shrubs, those types of things. Like, you don't want to be going and buying. For instance, I bought 2 apple trees last year. Well, I bought apple trees that are designed to grow in my climate, in my zone. They are cold tolerant. So that's, I think, the most important thing is just the perennials and the trees and shrubs and those types of things that's really important, because the thing is that if they're not meant for your zone, they will not winter. So waste of money, right? That's pretty much as far as I go with the zone. I don't get too crazy about it. And especially now that I'm not going to have like a massive garden and flower garden, it's a little bit different, but it also is one of those things that you kind of need to pay attention to a bit. As far as I said, like the frost date. Well, your zone will have, and your area, in fact, you can look it up online, what area. So I would look at, say, Regina Beach, Saskatchewan, and you can find that there's a map, or there's a calendar on there that will tell you what your typical last frost date would be. So for instance, I think in my area, it is typically like May 15th or something like that. Like in that area of the month, they'll tell you when your first frost date will be in the fall. And that also is a bit of a guideline if you're going to start your indoor plants. It'll say on the back of the package, it'll say 8 weeks before final frost. Important to know that then, like a general idea.
Okay, let's kind of touch on that frost date. I don't know how scientific this is, but one of the old wives' tale is to plant after the full moon in May. Well, we have 2 moons. We have a blue moon this May. I was thinking about it. Did people plant after the full moon at the beginning of May, or are they waiting until this one that's next week at the end of May, and maybe just planting in June? Any thoughts on that, sis? On the blue moon?
I do have thoughts on that.
Okay.
So first and foremost, I have been the person that feels they need to be planting their garden as soon as the snow's off the dirt. And do you know what? That honestly has bit me in the arse more than it's actually helped me out, because the plants are stressed. They don't grow as well. And so honestly, I have decided I'm not planting my garden until the 1st of June. And this was I decided this last year, actually, because I planted, I think it was last year or the year before. Anyways, I planted some seeds early, but I had some seedlings started, and I thought, well, then I'll have successions of these plants growing. The ones that I planted by seed early on, and then I planted plants, and I also planted seeds. But the seeds I planted early on, the plants did worse than the ones I planted later in May or beginning of June. So I 100% I was thinking, I might plant some seeds in my garden this weekend, because it is going to be plus 30. Like, we're getting close to the end of the month, beginning of June. I haven't been in a hurry to get in the garden anymore. I think end of May, beginning of June is your best shot. And it's really, I think we've just, what would you call it? Like, marketing of garden stuff happens so much sooner that we're all get this frantic panic. Oh my gosh, I got to get my seeds. I've got to get my plants. I've got to get them in the ground, because when you go to the stores, all the garden stuff is out in March.
January. Oh, I was going to say, as
Yeah.
soon as they clean out Christmas, it's garden center time.
Yeah. And so I think this urgency takes over us. And truly, I mean, even you can see it with the farmers. Like, I know people that are losing their minds because they can't get in the fields because it's wet. You know, back in the day, farmers weren't farming in April. Like, that's not how things were going. And so, same thing with us. I think this social media and society, they just make us feel panicked. But honestly, we plant our garden in June, we plant our pots in June, they'll be beautiful. They'll last. They'll probably be even better till September, even maybe late September. So I do think if there's going to be 2 moons and a blue moon, I think it's important to wait until after the last one, especially in our zones, because
It snowed in Saskatchewan last weekend.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure last night I got a frost warning on my phone that came up. So I think the later, like, I tell people, plant the very end of May, beginning of June. Don't do it any sooner. You're just out there covering, pulling your plants in, taking them out. Like, it's just becomes this whole other job. And then by the time September rolls around, you're hating gardening because you've babysat plants from April, March till, it just is not enjoyable. So cool your jets.
Yeah.
Cool your jets. And then it becomes fun and exciting and enjoyable because the plants are thriving and they're not stressed because of the weather. And so, yeah, I have some pretty, like, I would say for us and for you, I mean, there are definitely things that are cool tolerant. For instance, your herbs, except for basil likes the heat, but like a lot of herbs, lettuce, spinach, kale, cauliflower, broccoli, those types of plants, they're cold hardy. They can even stand a little bit of frost. So there are things, if you're really going to get into it, there's absolutely things that can handle this type of weather. And in fact, will thrive in it over growing in the heat. If you're going to get real serious about it, you got to learn, you got to figure all that stuff out if you kind of want to follow all that. But I mean, you're still going to get lettuce if you plant it in June, and you're still going to get kale, probably some broccoli if you want, and some cauliflower. Like, we're lucky we have a short growing season, but we can grow a lot of different things. Yeah. You would want to grow those things from a plant, like a seedling. But I mean, there's the information for gardening, and it can become so overwhelming that it really, I think, deters people from even doing it. So as much advice as I have for people, my best advice is just go buy some shit and plant it and see what happens and learn like that, because there's so much information. And honestly, what grows in my garden may not grow in my neighbor's garden. And what grows in their garden, I may have a hell of a time growing them. Like, there's so many people out here that tell me they can't grow garlic. Well, my garlic is already like 7 inches tall. It's planted in like sandy shit soil and it always is growing well. So I'm like, it's just, you don't know, so you got to kind of just plant your things and learn from that and go for it. And again, if you plant too early, well, you'll learn.
Yeah. So let's actually transition to that, because obviously you planted, you just said your garlic is 7 inches tall. So you planted your garlic last fall.
Yeah. Hardneck garlic. You got to plant it in the fall.
How many bulbs did you plant?
40. I think 38 are up.
Excellent. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice work. That's a good ratio that wintered over.
Not 2,600 though.
No, not 2,600.
That was how much I grew last year.
Oh my goodness. Significantly less.
Yeah, what a big change. I'm kind of like, I'm missing having a big garden, but I'm kind of enjoying having time to do other things like stain my deck, which is taking me longer than I thought. But I just don't feel this panic. And that, I think, is what was happening to me, because I just had my yard to take care of here, but then this big garden at the farm. So while I'm not going to be growing any vegetables this year other than garlic and maybe a tomato plant on my deck, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm going to grow lots of flowers still.
I was just going to say, what are you planting if you're not planting a garden and all your vets down at your place?
Well, I got all perennials growing, and then I have one bed that has the garlic in it, but that's the only thing. And so I'm going to plant annual flowers in there, annual cut flowers, zinnias, cosmos, bells of Ireland. I'm going to grow baby's breath, whatever seeds I have, and I've got tons of them. I started some plants inside. They're outside right now. I just can't think of what's I got some grasses. Oh, I got sprinkles grass growing. I've got lupins started. Those are perennial, but I had seeds for them, so I wanted to plant them. And then I also have feverfew. I've got foxglove started. Yeah, just annual cut flowers that I can cut and then bring them inside. And I have, oh my gosh, the peonies that are coming up. Holy doodle. It is unreal. I probably transplanted 20 peony plants from the farm, but probably had like maybe 10 here already. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, that's exciting. I'm sure you'll have so many peonies that you'll be able to give them away, and they are like precious gifts, peonies.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. What are you planting in your patio garden?
I have 2 balconies. I have a north-facing and a south-facing balcony at our condo. And so on our north-facing balcony, I planted herbs there because it's just a little bit cooler. I've also planted some spinach and some lettuce from seed. The herbs are doing good. I planted basil. I had to, because this weekend was chilly in Invermere, I was bringing my herbs in and out also. My spinach has come up, which is very exciting from seed, but the lettuce has not.
Awesome.
Yeah, the lettuce has not yet, but I did buy another package of lettuce. If it doesn't come up within the next week or so, because then it should have come up by now.
What kind of lettuce?
It was, I think, a butter lettuce. Anyways.
So it'll grow like a head or whatever, or is it like leafy?
No, it's like kind of like a field mix, but like just mostly
Okay,
that
yeah.
light green lettuce. But
Yeah.
anyways, so that was on the north-facing balcony. On the south-facing balcony, I have planted 2 pepper plants, 2 tomato plants, and this south-facing balcony gets like scorching hot. I've planted a blackberry bush that's in a pot. It says great for pots. Christina kind of talked about this. She's a little skeptical, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens.
No, I'm more skeptical about the carrots.
Okay, I planted carrots in a pot, and Chrissy had some strong feelings about this a few weeks ago, and it hasn't germinated. So I threw a pepper plant in there. We'll see if carrots come up. They come up, but they haven't germinated. So I'm just letting it, like, I'm not getting too serious about it. And then this past weekend, I planted my beans. I planted some yellow beans in a pot. So we'll see how many come up. And I'll just, if there's a few strong ones, then I will, and a few like weaker ones, I'll pull out the weaker ones and let the strong ones grow. So that is what's on our balcony garden. I bought some mums.
Oh, yeah.
And I killed them already. They didn't even last a week. I overwatered them, killed them. I thought mums could tolerate cooler temperatures and maybe not direct sunlight, because they're often sold in the fall. Like, they're sold like around Thanksgiving. And so I was like, oh, these are coolish plants. Well, I've since learned that no, they actually really like sunshine. And so the place that I had them, which was at my front door, which gets 0 sunlight.
Yeah.
They did not love that spot.
You'd probably be better with like a pot of coleus or something.
Well, I'm going to try begonias. I got 3 beautiful begonias.
That's right. Yeah. Those will be good.
Yeah, we'll see how those go, but they're stunning. Sean, and I've talked about this on a previous podcast episode, he really wants some curb appeal at our front door.
I like that. I think that's great.
And so, when the mums were there, he's like, oh, the mums look good. Like, he liked them, but then I killed them. So we got begonias now.
Begonias are very beautiful.
They are very beautiful. I just really need to get the front door happening, though, a bit more. So we're starting there. It's so funny. Right. Anyways, that's what we have growing. Guaranteed I'll kill some.
I was just thinking this, like, when you were talking, I was like, this is the first year in probably almost 20 years that I haven't grown a vegetable garden.
Yeah, but I can see that you might, dabble in a few pots with some veggies in them, sissy.
We're so fortunate because very close to me is the Lumsden Valley.
Yeah.
Well, the Craven Valley. It's a Capel Valley, actually. But anyways, and there's market gardens there.
Yeah.
And so I can go, and then friends of mine, they own heliotrope, and that's an organic garden, and they come out here every Sunday and sell at the farmer's market. So that's kind of why I decided to not grow veggies, because I have such amazing access to fresh grown vegetables right out my back door pretty much. So I was like, you know what? For the amount I like to grow, because I like to can, I was going to end up having to buy so much anyways. I'll end up having to buy like a case of tomatoes and all that kind of stuff to be able to do what I want to do, that I thought might as well just grow flowers this year because they bring me so much joy and I can
Yeah.
have fresh flowers all season. And then because I will still do all my canning, but I'm just going to have to go to the gardens and buy fresh stuff from them, which is fine. I can support the local growers. I'm happy to do that. So I feel a bit sad, but you're right. I'll probably end up, I do have herbs that I'm going to grow and all that kind of stuff because I always do, but I'll have a few things in pots like, my tomatoes, and maybe I'll grow one pot cucumber plant because cucumbers are my favorite good garden vegetable. But anyways, it's kind of interesting. Yeah. When you're talking about your veggies, I'm like, yeah, this is probably my first time in like almost 20 years I haven't grown vegetables.
I did forget to tell you that I have an experiment happening.
I love this.
Okay, so for our listeners, I live in a condo, and out our south balcony is basically a
Construction site.
yeah, it's a construction site that's never ever been finished. It's just a dump, and I can't stand looking at it. I'm glad that my trees are starting to get leaves on them to hide it from me. But between my condo and that, the first retaining wall or foundation is just like rocky dirt, no landscaping. And it's really sad to me to look out there because it's between the other buildings, they've done beautiful landscaping. They won't do landscaping here because they are concerned that it will be for naught when they get rebuilding on this building beside us, which is not happening. Anyhow, so I've decided to plant wildflowers
I
over
think
there.
you might have done that to me.
And so this past weekend, I planted a bunch of colorful sunflowers over there. And for my birthday, my friend Lainey gave me it was a popsicle stick that had like wildflowers kind of in like a clay or a dirt or whatever, that you just stick the popsicle stick into the ground and you get wildflowers. So we'll see if I get some sunflowers in this very shitty part of my area, and if I can get some wildflowers growing, I'm gonna like really work at it to have
So did
a
you
whole bunch of
actually
wildflowers.
plant wildflowers or just sunflowers and then this one popsicle stick?
Sunflowers and the one popsicle stick.
Okay, well, you can buy bags of wildflower seeds and
Yes.
sprinkle them down there, and they don't even need to be put in the dirt, and then they'll go self-seed after, and then they'll just continually grow and seed and grow and seed, and hopefully within a few years.
Here's my one worry. The flowers would be invasive species to this area. Now, the whole area is covered with invasive species, but I don't want to, but people are trying to curb those. They're out there pulling them out, right? And so I don't want to be contributing to invasive species.
There's me out at Mark's place, just bags upon bags upon bags of wildflower seeds just scattered everywhere. Anyways, well, fair enough. That's fair, but I mean, okay.
I'm sure like the sunflowers and whatever's in the bee stick are, I'm sure, quite invasive also.
Well, sunflowers, they will, because they'll go to seed.
Yes.
And the birds won't be able to eat all of them if you put lots of them down. And then they'll come back year after year. Like that's what was happening to me out at Mark's place. I was starting to have volunteer sunflowers everywhere and I loved it. And volunteer poppies, those were really starting to come up. So
yeah, beautiful.
I hope to get some poppies here this year because I sprinkled a ton of poppy seeds out in my yard as well. But anyway, cool.
Anyways, some wildflower planting is also, I'm going to try.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's nothing better than flowers, fresh flowers growing everywhere. It just brings me so much joy.
Any other yard work that you're planning this year, sis?
Well, I got all kinds of things on the go here because my house has been neglected for 6 freaking years. So, because I was at the farm. So, project number 1 is getting my deck stained. I'm super close to being done. So, that'll be done by the end of this week. Hallelujah. But then the next project is part of the siding on my house got melted years ago when the barbecue got too hot. So, I'm going to be replacing some siding on the side of my house. And then a couple pieces of the gables blew out. And so that needs to be replaced. So I'll be working on that. And then 2 of my garden beds. Well, actually, you know what? Here's the thing is that I was down in my garden last night and 2 of my garden beds have totally rotted. They're wood. And I've noticed that they're all kind of rotting. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I was going to go buy more wood to put around them. The wood probably only lasted 10 years maybe, which is fine and all good, but maybe I've just kind of thought about getting rid of the wood altogether and just planting or just putting that plastic edging around them. I don't know. I got to think on that, but I would really like to get that kind of something dialed in because the grass is starting to take over into the garden bed. So I got to find something to separate the garden from the grass. But that's another job I want to get done. And I want to get a new sectional for my deck. And I don't know, there's all kinds of projects I have my eyes on. Just a client was in today telling me because I'd love to get like a pergola or a gazebo type thing for my deck, but the gazebo would be taller than what my roof is. So he was showing me tonight that he just got from Home Depot these galvanized steel corner things that you put 4x4s into. And I'm like, oh my God, well, I can build my own freaking pergola and it can be the size that I want it. And it maybe won't have a roof on it, but I can put up shade things and put
Yeah, I was
string
just gonna
lights
say
on
like
it.
those sails.
I could put something cool on it. And so then that got me all stirring up a storm. And I was just like, oh my God, like, uh, but again, everything costs so much money. So I don't know what I can really afford to do this year, but I think the siding and the deck are my two main projects for this year. And then if I can afford to do the other things, like figure out something for my yard, for the garden beds, then I'll do that. And I wouldn't mind to get some loads of rock in to put around and just kind of really clean things up. It just looks frickin' wild. Like it looks neglected. Poor thing. And my poor neighbors, like they're probably just like, Krista, get your shit together already. So that's what I'm doing this year. I'm gonna get my shit together. And I just plan to like hang out in my yard all summer. So I want to make it feel friggin' awesome and beautiful and fabulous. So that's pretty much it for me as far as yard work. And I know that you live in a condo, so that's not
Yeah.
really on your radar,
No,
but yeah,
not at
that's
all.
pretty much it. There's lots of projects. I think it's going to take me a few years to get this back under control. Last fall, I had some trees cut back, so that was a project that I needed to get done, but got it done last fall.
Have you contemplated like paving stones to go around the edges of your planter boxes that had the wood around them?
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I have thought about that. I've thought about lots of different things. I still think I would struggle with the grass getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'd need to be a bit tall. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna do some garage selling this year. I'm gonna see what I can get.
Yeah.
See
You're in
what
the
comes up.
season of receiving, sister.
I'm in
You
the
never know.
season of receiving. We are in the season of receiving. I'll just see. I'll just see. That's not a crazy priority of mine, but if I can find something amazing that would work. But here's the thing. I've got 7 10x6 garden beds.
Yeah.
So like Uh, replacing them all is going to be a huge feat, and only 2 of them are rotted right now. So that's kind of why I'm like, ooh, do I just suck it up and buy new wood? Which probably will be what I do because it's just instant. It'll be done. It'll look good. And then I don't know. I don't know what to do, but I just one step at a time. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed because when I go to do something and I think like even my deck, I was like, oh, it's going to be like probably $500, and here I am $1,000 into my deck to like
Mm,
stain it, clean it, get some new screws because some of them are coming out like just it's like double what I thought it was going to be, which is how projects go.
yeah. And maybe it is just a year that it's just a year of cleaning up your yard.
Truly, I think that's what it's pretty much going to be, and getting like the weeds under control. Maybe like I'm not too concerned about the garden beds, but yeah, it's going to be a project over the next bit, and I've shared on my story that I'm going to try to document as much of it as I can because I do love gardening. And so, yeah, it'll be kind of fun. It'll be fun to see how much I get done this year. So piece by piece, you know? Yeah. So that's, I think,
I look
gonna,
forward to following along, and I look forward to if you need help when I get back to Regina. I look forward to helping you if you need
oh,
help.
yeah, I'll save the paving stones I find. Like, oh, this job is for when Sissy's home.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be good. Yeah, I'll probably have there'll be some kind of a project we can do when you're here. I'm sure of it. I'm excited because I'm gonna have some decent days off while you're home, so that'll be good.
I didn't know that. That's great. All
I
right.
still have to work a bit, but yeah, I think that's gonna move us along into our pits, peaks, and plans. What do you think?
Yes, sounds great.
You first.
Okay, well, pits, a week that I had no pits, so that's great. Peaks. Well, it was a long weekend, May long weekend, and the weather was not great, but I went garage sailing and had the most fun time garage sailing this weekend.
Good.
It was really fun. I don't even think I spent $20 garage sailing this weekend, but I got like lots of good things. Like I got pots and I got like a collapsible dish dryer. I got like a Christmas tree wreath holder and a whole bunch of CDs for my nephew. And I don't know, it was just fun, whimsy
Treasure
shopping.
hunting.
Treasure hunting. Absolutely. It was great. And then after I was done that, I was a tourist in my own town. It was so good. I walked around and visit our shops. There's lots going on. I'm starting to feel like a local. They recognize me and chat with me. So that was lovely. Oh, I was a little crafty this weekend. I really just wanted to do some watercolors, and then just doodle on them. Like that's all I wanted. And the doodling was very intuitive. Like there was no drawing that came to mind or whatever. So
Look at you go.
yeah, it was just nice. I just wanted colors on paper, and I just knew that I wanted to just doodle afterwards on it. That's all I knew.
Oh yeah, I love that. Those
Yeah.
look great.
Yeah. So that's it. That was my weekend. Reading, cleaning. I don't know. That was it. Plans for the upcoming weekend. Sean and I are doing a very quick trip into Calgary. We have a lot of errands to do in the big city, the really big city. We need a Costco shop. We have friends coming the following weekend, and I want to go buy some non-alcoholic liquor so we can make some fancy cocktails while they're here.
Who's coming?
And our friends Jason and Heather are coming.
Oh, good.
And very excited. And so that will be part of my plans this weekend too, is getting ready for them. There's Heather's birthday we will be celebrating when she's here. And we're celebrating Jay's retirement. It's been very low key. And if he listens to this, he'll probably be cringing that I'm even mentioning him and retirement in the same sentence. But he is our first friend in our friend group to be at the age where he can retire. I am excited to know what his next chapter is. So we will be celebrating them. So I just want to spoil both them rotten. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So that's it. Those are my plans. What about you, sis?
Okay, well, I have a small pit and it's I think I overdid it this weekend. So we're doing this weight loss challenge for the gym.
Mm.
Oh my God. Okay, so I lost 1.5 pounds the first week and then I gained it back. So my weight and everybody on the weight loss challenge is like dropping serious pounds. Like I'm just like laughing at myself. I was talking to Derek that owns the gym the other day. I was just like, honestly, I'm not doing it necessarily for that, of course, whatever. It'd be nice to lose 5 pounds. He puts up like a leaderboard thing and mine's like 0.00%. Anyway,
Wah, wah.
so I was like, okay, I gotta do a little, maybe just like try a little bit harder. Anyways, I went for a run and then like a walk run and I did 12K and then I did another 5K the next day. Then I went to the gym and then I ran 3K on the treadmill when it was raining. And I think I don't know. I think I pulled like a muscle in my groin, but it's like attached to my lower back, like slash glute, my upper glute. So it's like a whole thing where if I squat down, it's pulling from my crotch to my ass.
Mm.
Anyways, whatever, something's happening down there, but I'm sure it's just because I overdid it. Anyway, no sweat, not that big of a deal, but there's definitely a little something going on there. My peaks, well, I have one massive peak.
Mm.
So today, I think it was yesterday that you told me this or the day before. My sister's okay, we told you guys that there's a podcast that Stacey got me onto called Shooting the Shit with Tracy and Martina. I am absolutely obsessed. I've been plowing through the episodes because I just want to catch up. Well, I kind of don't want to because I want to be able to binge them, but I'm on episode 74. And anyways, I just freaking love Tracy and Martina. Love them. Well, Stacey sends me a freaking text. They're coming to Saskatoon, November. I said, I'm fucking going. And so another girl out here, she's a client of mine. She's an avid listener of our podcast. She's a commercial painter. And the other day she messages me and she's like, Krista, I am literally pissing myself on the ladder. And the trades guys are probably thinking, what the hell is wrong with this woman? Because she was listening to Tracy and Martina. She's like dying obsessed. And I just know like she's just a lovely human. So I messaged her today. You want to go with me? And she's like, abso-freaking-lutely. So I got Amanda and I freaking front row VIP tickets with a meet and greet with Tracy and freaking Martina. Oh, I can't. I'm like so pumped. You guys have no idea. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm going to tell them, but and all I can think about is me and Amanda dressing up and like shirts that say, hey, sexies, and freaking, I don't know, fishnets or something. But anyways, I don't know. I'm pumped. I'm just so freaking excited because I love comedy and this podcast brings me heaps of freaking joy. I'm telling you, heaps of it. It's just so funny and awesome. So we're going. I got us tickets. She says to me, I just buy whatever ones are going to get us closest to the stage. I go look, 2 in the front row, right there available. I'm like, meant to be. So we're going for it. Yeah, it'll be great. Okay, and then another peak. I spent like the whole weekend just like beating. And the only thing that I did in between was go to the gym or go for a run, walk, whatever. So I literally like hunkered in my house and it was just kind of crappy out and just stayed warm and cozy in my sweats, no bra on, and just loved every minute of it. Do you know how? I mean, painting is very relaxing and I love it, but beading is a whole other ball game too. My plans for the week. They're replacing a water line in where the salon, like close to where the salon is. So I'm not working tomorrow because I'm not going to have any water. So just a random day off midweek. So I want to finish staining my deck tomorrow, but it downpoured here today, so it depends on how hot it gets and if my deck will dry off. So I likely won't actually get to it till tomorrow night, which is fine because if I can still stain it tomorrow night, that'll be great. If I can get my little herb garden planted, I'm going to get my garden beds kind of ready and worked up and whatever to get them ready. I'm going to do Costco with my mom on Monday. And then I was supposed to have my first riding lesson back a couple weeks ago, and then that didn't end up happening. So hopefully this Monday I have my first riding lesson. Hopefully that all works out. And then on Monday, I also have to take my car into Anderson Auto because I got hit. I told you guys that. And so he's going to have a look at it and get the information from SGI so that they can order what they need to order for them to fix my car, which is great. And then I'm hoping to get to see Brother Neil at some point in time because today our BN got his hip replaced. So I'm hoping to see him and take him a care package of things to hopefully help with his recovery. That's all very like whatever. So yeah, that's it. I don't have any other plans. Just going to be chilling out, like doing house stuff. I just am loving this chapter of my life right now. It's good.
Yes, awesome.
I don't feel rushed. For the last few years, I felt like everything was so rushed. Like everything was fast moving and I just had no time. And I kept saying that like time is going by so fast. And I think it was because like I was traveling to the farm, like I had a 4-day week and then I was going to the farm and then I was back and it was like, it was insane how fast time was going. And finally I feel like it's slow the hell down. Like I just feel like it's slow and I can actually truly enjoy the projects I have going on as opposed to just getting shit done for the sake of time, like not having enough time.
Awesome.
I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. But I just wanted to remind you guys that if you love the episode, please feel free to share the episode. Weigh in on all of your garden things that you have going on. I know there's some major gardeners because we have you guys on social media and I've been seeing some flower posts. Jennifer, hint, hint. Anyways, chime in and let us know what's happening. Share the episode. If you haven't given us a review, please do that. It helps a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, please give us a subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. That helps us go a long way. And if you want to find us on social media, you can find Stacey on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can find myself, Krista, on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can find Sisters Social Call on Instagram. And I think that's that. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, love you, sissy.
Love you too, sis.